You know, when you think about it in life, we're tested every day almost, you know, of how are we going to react to this or that. And Jerry was a good person to follow in some of that stuff, because even when there were a couple of times where we got ripped off really bad by a couple of managers, right, and lost a lot of money, all the money we had, and we'd be mad as heck and want to get the guy, and Jerry would say, no, think about it. We're not calling the cops. We're not reporting this. We're not going after him, because he lost every friend that he had. Think about it. The guy was with us for years, and one day chose to take money over us. And I listened to Jerry that day, and I've seen that guy before, but never up close. He'll be way out in an audience somewhere and yelling to me or something. But he went from the top of the pile to the bottom in our world, because you can't tolerate somebody who's going to take advantage of you like that when you're in a communal family setting, you know. And that's something also about the Grateful Dead. Honesty. There's a lot of honesty. People would get mad, and they'd usually get it over with quick, because you can't, just like you can't go to bed angry, you can't go on stage angry, because it won't work.
Man, that's what I say. Thank you for saying that. I just don't understand how people can do that, man. I do not.
It blows my mind too. It blows my mind to see how many bands now, after they've made it, I can tell you bands that have made it, and I know their managers and stuff, and they're fighting each other now. Lawsuits are coming up and things like that. It blows my mind, because you got to remember what we struggled through, what you went through. All bands have to do that to make it, you know. That should be a stronger bond between people, but, you know, it's not always. It's not.
I mean, I remember when Pink Floyd was suing each other and they were on tour together. And I was just like, you know, for me, like, you know, I often use the metaphor between improvisation and sex, but what we're really doing is making love, you know, and like, I cannot have a dance partner or be making love with somebody that I'm that, you know, like if we're going to sue each other or just have you know, willful not working it out. Like, I can't do it for very long, man. I can't do it for very long.
You know, the Rolling Stones, we worked with them a little bit, but I realized that they each had their own manager, each had their own hotels, and they were still working together on stage. But there was things that happened. You know, if you're on the road that long, things happen. And people as they get older, they don't remember things the same. There are stories right now, if all of us are sitting around, everybody alive from the Grateful Dead now, whoever on the crew, and we talk about, remember that night in San Diego when this happened? Everybody remembers it a little different, you know, and sees themselves in a different role in it. And you have to deal with that now, because people forget a lot. Like the people in the Grateful Dead, they discount sometimes the Jerry Garcia band. They don't like to talk about it that much because they weren't involved in it. They did play, you know, Kreutzmann played in the band. One time Phil came down and played bass one time because Khan couldn't be there, but everybody knew about it, but they looked at that as time off for them. Like you were saying earlier, Mike, Jerry and I just kept working all the time.
Yeah.
And now that on hindsight, I wish I'd have kept him out on the road for a whole year, because that's what he wanted. He wanted to play every day. And when he didn't, that's when he got in trouble.